And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today, I have some great news, and that is that we are nearing the next financial collapse in history, and it's going to be the greatest collapse that we've ever seen. How on earth is that fantastic news? And I'm going to use this live stream in order to explain what is going on. And this is just, of course, my opinion. Don't take financial advice from me, obviously, a random guy from YouTube. But there are certain things here that if you believe that this could possibly happen, if you believe in the things that I'm actually saying, or there's just a sign of belief, then study it out for yourself. Get the necessary information to make your own decisions on what you should be doing with your own life, and make them now, because this is the most crucial time in history to make these important decisions. Let's talk about the fall of the Roman Empire. There are certain things that cause an empire to fall, and very often it is based upon an empire becoming rich. Now, you become rich compared to other societies on the planet. Okay, and that's pretty much what happened with the Roman Empire. And the thing that happens is that women get a lot of power in those societies when men are rich. And when we're talking about men being rich, I'm talking about the wealthy at the top. Okay, but they were actually poor, but they felt as though they were rich because they had tons of people working for them. So eventually what happened, or forced other people to work for them, when they got rich, they got prideful. And when they got prideful, they stopped growing. They stopped doing the things that got them there in the first place. And they kept using their military to conquer lands in order for them to feed the people. But at one point in time, they run dry. And that's what happened to the Roman Empire for two reasons. One, you get the you get the debasing of the currency which was going on during that time. Instead of actually using a pure currency of gold and silver, they ended up debasing it with copper. And this is something that you can learn from Mike Maloney's Hidden Secrets of Money. And and that's when the squandering and the war and all of the things happen in order for them to become massively poor. Basically, the wealth that they were building during that time frame when they were mixing the gold and silver with copper and other metals that weren't precious, it caused it seemed as if the people were wealthy. It seemed as though it was actually working, and it wasn't, until eventually people understood that the money that the government was printing out or debasing, that it wasn't worth anything anymore. And the only thing that was worth something was the gold, was the actual gold and silver that was 100% pure. And this money was not being in circulation at all anymore. It was only the copper ones and the ones that were fake, basically fake money. And that's why the empire collapsed. Now, it's not only because of the monetary situation, but the monetary situation tells us that what's happening in society is fake. What truly is happening is families not working anymore. Families create children. Children grow up, and then they become a people of lack very often because their parents were neglectful. Their parents did not love each other, and they did not love their children. That's the real thing that happened. And this is caused by monogamy. And we know that the Roman Empire was strictly enforcing monogamy for a long period of time until it collapsed. And that's what we need to understand, that it has to do with the family organization. But we're going to talk about that another time, because I want you guys to know what's happening right now and how we can compare the Roman Empire's fall to the current situation. So understand that the debasing of currency was truly what caused the Roman Empire to fall when you look at it from a monetary situation. What is going on today, guys? What happened in 1971? Richard Nixon, he took the dollar off of the gold standard. This is critical. This is 50 years ago. Everything that has happened with the currencies, and they somehow managed to spread this madness to the rest of the world, has exponentially grown, meaning the debasing of the currency has exponentially grown because we're not on the gold standard. They're printing fake money. And so the money that you have in your bank account, the money that you have, in your hand, is not really money. It's just paper. And then society basically says that, it's basically only trust that allows us to use this currency. People trust that this has value, and so the other person trusts that this has value. Yeah, but what happens when there is no longer any trust in the fake money? Everything collapses, and it collapses fast. Okay, the only thing that will have any value at that moment in time won't be money. It will be the actual things that you can utilize in your life, like, for example, your mind and your work ethic and your skills, right? That's something that you can sell for other things that you need for food. There will be bartering instead. Like, that sucks. Because money is a very nice medium of exchange, but once there's no trust in the money situation, in the fiat dollar or fiat other currency that you've got in your home country, we enter into a problematic situation. It's only the people that have gold and silver in their purity that are going to have any value whatsoever in a currency. This is the time to prepare, because it's happening. Okay, 2008 was a warning signal, and there's tons of wealthy people, as for example Robert Kiyosaki and other guys, that are telling that this should have happened in 2016, but they did not know to what extent the government would be printing more and more and more and more money. They did not know about quantitative easing in 1971, that it could continue like exponentially to like extreme levels. All right, if you go to my Instagram at Men of High Value, you'll see some slides. There's one, flatten this curve. When are they gonna flatten this curve? Which is talking about the debt that the U.S. That the United States of America has. Okay, the debts are astronomical. And it's time for a time of reckoning right now, because there's literally tens of thousands of pensioners that are retiring on a daily basis. Okay? It's a pension bomb that's the problem, not the coronavirus. Now that we know what the coronavirus is, that's not the problem. Now, there could be another pandemic. Maybe this was just a warning sign of what's coming next, but there's going to be a lot of problems in the next few years. I started this video by saying that this is fantastic. This is great. The reason why this is great is because we're nearing a new beginning. Okay? Just because there's an end doesn't mean that it's the end. That's never the case. It's only a new beginning for what is coming next. And we want the next to arrive in some ways as soon as possible, but allowing yourself to prepare right now before the collapse happen. That's why this is great, because you can prepare. It's going to be horrible for the majority of the population, but it's going to be fantastic for those that have prepared, because there's going to be a wealth transfer. The wealth is not going to be suddenly disappear. A lot of people have specialized, a lot of people have groundbreaking knowledge that just needs to be transferred into new types of businesses, into new technology, into new innovative solutions. It's all there. We've got all the things to make things work. The only problem is that we need to avoid war at all costs. That's going to be very, very, very tricky. Because in my estimation, I believe that there's going to be war. There's going to be war somehow in the next few years. How that's going to look like, I have no idea. Is it going to be America against China? I don't know. Is it going to be a civil war of some type in America? Is America going to be kind of like Venezuela has been the last 5 years? We don't know, but there's going to be some kind of war. Maybe there's going to be a new pandemic, but this time it's way more lethal. Who knows? I don't know. The only thing I know is that there's going to be shortages. There's going to be shortages in terms of food. There's going to be shortages in terms of people working, because people don't want to work, it seems like. They just want to receive free stuff from the government. And that's what was going on during the Roman Empire in the last phases of the Roman Empire. It was called bread and circus, that the government was basically fueling the economy by giving them entertainment and giving them crumbs. And because they got crumbs and entertainment, then basically the people were okay, until it didn't work anymore. And that's what we're heading into right now. So, obviously, I'm not the expert on this stuff, but it's crucial for me to explain this stuff from a standpoint of explaining exponential joy and happiness, and exponential, setting yourself up financially, setting yourself up in order for you to have a family, to have 3 girls in love in the future. If you don't understand this stuff right now, then like, why aren't you listening to me in 5 to 10 years? Do you understand what I mean? Like, I want to prepare you so that you're ready now. I want to help you to take the next steps now in your life so that you can be ready and prepared. So what are the next steps that I suggest for you, having talked about the things that I've explained here? And ask any questions, because I'll try to explain, because I have more knowledge on it, but it comes out. I just basically speak out on the general lines of it. My first suggestion, obviously, is practicing semen retention. Why? Because you don't need any women. That's the whole point of semen retention, to not need women, which is why NoFap in general is completely ridiculous, even though it's great. It helps people and helps their lives and improves everything, because they're not socially isolated in their homes watching porn all by themselves, of course. But NoFap basically tells you that you should go out and meet women and have sex with them. That's destructive for society. You want to use semen retention to get over your porn addiction and your PMO addiction, and then move on to the point of not needing women for a temporary space of time, not forever. We're going to return back to women. We're going to use women as motivation, but not right now. I've repeated this again and again. Semen retention is perfect in order for you to have that set up from the get-go, so that you don't need women, but you've got the desire and the motivation to get there. That's what semen retention does. If you haven't set that up in your life, this is the time. If you haven't set that up in your life, you haven't watched enough of my videos. Go back and watch them all, especially the last month. But you can also start from the beginning of my channel, even though that's more about relationships. I don't recommend those ones. Right now, I recommend you to start right here, right now, with your finances, with your business, and setting your life up for success once and for all. I talk about that you should have $100,000 in net worth before you even think about sex. Not really, you'll think about sex during this whole process, but until you think about even getting into a romantic relationship. There's no need for that. But the $100,000, that's going to be hyperinflated in the next few years, in my opinion. Okay, people have been talking about this for 50 years, right? Because Nixon took them off the dollar. But the fact is that the government tricked the rest of the world to join them in this madness. And so the exponential growth curve has kind of been steady. But now it's like it's just right before the exponential thing happens. Anyway, so what's the next step if you're practicing semen retention? If you've gone 30, 40, 50 days, whatever, you should have started at day 1 to start working serving the masses, serving the people 8 to 10 to 12 hours every single day. It's not enough to work 2 hours a day. It's not enough to work 4 hours a day, even though that's a great start if you haven't been working for a long period of time. 8 to 10 to 12 hours, it's where it's at. And you've got to get there as soon as possible, either by having a full-time job and then working a side hustle on the side. That's what I recommend right now. If you have a job, keep it. Don't quit. All right, you're one of the lucky ones that actually has a job. And if you don't have a job, get one as soon as possible right now, no matter if it's a pizza delivery boy or an Uber Eats, whatever driver, whatever it is, make sure that you're making money right now. Well, but why should I be making money if it's fake? There's no purpose for me to make money. No, there's a purpose, because the fake money that you're getting right now will allow you to invest in precious metals. It'll allow you to invest in yourself by gaining the necessary knowledge, and also by investing in a coach. This is the best time to invest in the coach, in my opinion, because it sets you on the right track. It gets rid of your nasty past, right? Because you probably have a nasty past if you haven't accomplished the things that you've wanted to accomplish in your life. That probably was because of the dysfunctional properties of your family when you were growing up, right? End of the Roman Empire, families that don't work. That's what's happening today. That's what's happened the last 20 years, including you. Your parents weren't, maybe it didn't work for them at all. And that affected you. And that is affecting your work ethic and motivation and your drive. That needs to be changed. That's why you need to go out and get a job immediately, and don't wait for the coronavirus, and don't wait for, oh, well, I'm going to wait until until the lockdown is over. Find a job right now, because you don't have time to waste. Even if it takes 5 years for this thing to collapse and the dollar to hyperinflate, then you'll have 5 years to invest in gold, to invest in silver, to invest in Bitcoin, to invest in you understanding maybe cryptocurrency, understanding all of this and how this works, and getting skills, becoming valuable to the marketplace. 5 years is a fantastic time to do this. Obviously I'm giving you a little bit of sense of urgency here, and explaining, the intensity of what I believe is going to happen, because it might happen tomorrow. That's the thing we don't know. That's why we need to get prepared right now. But again, it's a fantastic thing. It's a great thing when you understand it, because you can put yourself in a position to truly, truly be blessed in the next few years, compared to a lot of other people that are still spending time with porn, spending time with entertainment, spending time with whatever it is that people are doing these days. And get yourself ready. Explaining a little bit more about why precious metals is important. Obviously, the hyperinflation of the dollar. In my opinion, gold's price is pretty much at $35 still. In principle, when the dollar was part of the gold standard. But the dollar is not the dollar that it was 50 years ago. The dollar has lost, and we're talking about maybe 95% of its value, in my opinion. Which means that when you see real estate out there and like, oh man, he's lucky, man, he's got real estate. That real estate is not worth the price that it is right now. And if you see people that are it looks like they're rich, trust me, they're not rich. It might have boosted their confidence temporarily, because they're getting easy money. But if they're wasting all of that money, if they're living on debt, then they're not going to be in a good position in the next few years at all. And that's what you need to get yourself out of, getting out of the credit card debt, getting out of the bad debt, so that you can focus on investing in things that actually matter. And some people will say, well, shouldn't I be getting myself into debt? Well, if you know what you're doing when it comes to debt, then yes, spend the next few years understanding debt. But if you're not able to get yourself in correct debt, then don't. Because really, it's the ones that are indebted, that are actually supposed to pay something, that will benefit from the market crash, because the dollar's not going to be worth anything. So if it exponentially grows, it's kind of like, well, I'm defaulting and I can't pay my loans, and that sucks for you, bank, right? That's kind of, but that's the wrong thing to do. That's not being honest. And we believe in truth. We believe in transparency. We believe in taking care of business the right way. And that's why it's crucial that we pay off the things that have high interest, because it's basically killing us as it happens. And like I mentioned, invest in a coach. So let's go through some of the questions, which are very few. My ex tried to get back with me today on day 23 of semen retention. Yeah, I highly recommend against this. Completely recommended against this. The reason why is because during this time, in the next few months, the next few years, you don't want to have anyone relying on you unless you're financially very well off in terms of precious metals or Bitcoin. If you haven't built up anything in terms of precious metals and Bitcoin, do not get into a relationship at all romantically. That's my recommendation. And because you're not going to be able to take care of her. And it's going to put you in a very difficult situation, because in monogamy, you and your emotions are governed by her reproductive cycle, because she's the one that has the most intense emotions in the relationship, and you're feminine because of the fact that you need sex more than her. That's what's going to cause the relationship to go like this. Oh, it feels great sometimes, and then it's horrific other times. If you haven't been in a monogamous relationship, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But if you have, you do. What's the best way to deal with urges? The best way to deal with urges is to work. Are you working 8 to 12 hours a day? Because if you are, you won't be thinking about it. Do you have momentum in your life? Are you making money? Are you actually pushing yourself forward, and not only at the gym? The gym is great, okay? But the gym only is for half an hour, maximum 2 hours a day. Don't do 2 hours a day, it's too much. Which means that you've got another 14 freaking hours to work, right? And to stress your brain and to actually make things happen in your life. So you won't be getting urges that are too much if you're busy, if you're actually taking action every single day or every single moment of your life. If things are happening, awesome things are happening. Mentioning Luista, do you know Shaquille O'Neal? One of the greatest of all time basketball players, Los Angeles Lakers, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Luista wrote him like 3 days ago, and Shaq responded, all right, with a message. It's insane. If I told him 10 months ago when he signed up as a client with me, hey, bro, in 10 months' time, you're going to have Shaq reply on your phone because of the tactics that I've explained to you, because of the mindset that I've explained to you, because of those things. He'd be like, whatever, bro. 10 months later, it happened. And not only did it happen, but it caused exponential momentum to happen in his business, even though Shaq only responded with one thing and hasn't responded since. It created such a massive momentum in Luis's business that it's kind of too much right now. He's becoming anxious because it's like there's too much momentum and he's making too much money. But anyway, the point is, you guys are here at semen retention. I want to take you past that, and the reason, and that's why we need to tackle the problems. I completely understand, and absolutely we have to talk about the urges, and we have to talk about how to get to the next day. But are you working? If you're not working, okay, please, in the comment section, tell me what job you have, and let's congratulate every single guy that has a job, because that's where it's at right now. You slaving away for the next few months saving up money or investing in yourself so that you can exponentially grow by becoming an entrepreneur. Okay, the reason why I want you to become an entrepreneur is because imagine someone in this circumstance right now telling me, well, I'm in school and I'm going to become an engineer and I'm going to do this and that and the other. I'm like, no, bro, there's a financial collapse. There's not going to be anyone hiring. If there's going to be anyone hiring, it's you in the worst possible downturn in history, which is worse than the Roman Empire, because the Roman Empire had, like, we're talking 1 million, inhabitants in their land. Maybe it was a little bit more than that, but we're talking now of a world of 7 billion people. 7 billion people who will have starvation, who will have food shortages, who will have issues because they can't get a hold of things that they need in order to survive. It's going to look a bit different than the Roman Empire fall. And that's why it also takes a little bit longer time, because of mass media telling the people that it's, hey, the markets are doing this and this today, and the markets are doing this, instead of, that the money that you've got is fake. That it's only based upon you guys trusting the government that it's real. Once we realize that the government, what they're doing is not real, and that they're simply printing money all of the time, it's ridiculous, right? We got to wake up. We got to understand that studying right now, going to college or university, is one of the worst things that you could possibly do with your time right now. Worst. So I would quit immediately. Let's say you have only one exam left. I just need to pass this exam first. If that certification is going to build you a massive audience. I've got a client right now, and he's going to become a financial advisor. And he has like 2 months left of his exam or something like that. There's very few months left. But he wants to build a massive YouTube channel and a massive, audience. Then I'm like, if it's this close for you to get that exam, fine. But if you're getting the exam in order for you to get a job, that's horrific. That's ridiculous. Like, and if anything, the only thing that will help at that point is if you're becoming a doctor, because there's going to be a massive need for doctors, and if you're going to be a professional nurse. Okay, but that's it. Other than that, it's ridiculous to go to college right now. Put your foot down, get out of college, get out of university, and start working, serving the people now with the things that the people want now. Because right now is the time to prepare for the financial meltdown that's going to happen in the next few years, and for war. War is going to happen. Hopefully the draft is not going to pick us up, right? And hopefully you'll be able to keep working during the time. Hopefully there's not going to be a war in your area. Who knows? I don't know. The only thing I know is that there's going to be shortages. And when there's shortages, even more hyperinflation happens. Just look at Venezuela and you'll get an idea of what's going to happen with the rest of the world. Is we just haven't accepted enough socialist principles yet. But the time is coming, because that's what the people do in circumstances when they have a lack. They believe that the government is going to rescue them, and that's going to cause more problems because the bubble is going to get bigger. The bigger the bubble gets, which is what's happening right now, the bigger the collapse and the worse it's going to look. But again, it's great news. It's fantastic news if you are prepared. If you are prepared, you shall not fear. If you're on semen retention, if you've saved up money, not for savings, but for investing immediately in precious metals and or Bitcoin, and investing in your own skill set, knowledge, and your foundation, which is what I can produce for you as a coach. Contact me with the DM on @menofhighvalue. I will help you to get to the next level in your life immediately. You need this help fast if you haven't ever had a coach in the past. And if it hasn't worked for you, it's going to work with me. And that's how I'm going to end it. This is the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. I'll see you in the next video.